Happy New Year to everyone. As was sent before, that was sent before the end of the calendar year. We have a new website and new logo and new folks joining us. So I'm feeling better about where the DBA is going. And I know a couple of you have reached out to me about playing a role in the executive committee. But if you haven't done so already, and I see that Steve did, rename yourself with the organization that you are with. And that will be helpful for folks just to know who's on board. And but we have a bunch of folks on here. So Happy New Year. And I do want to be able to say thank you to Carrie and Trisha White. They were, and to the Chamber for allowing the DBA to receive grant funding to do our website over. Montello, Campello, Greater Brockton Minority Business Association, Cape Verdean Association, all received the benefit of the Chamber grant. And I think, as you can tell, that it's new and we really want to always be inclusive. So thank you to the Chamber and to the work of the consultants who worked with us. Also on the agenda, it will send out, there is our DBA calendar. We will be trying to stick to this. We will run into, I'm sure we'll be running into some conflicts, but if you take a look at this calendar if you can look at the calendar for the rest of the year, and if you see a conflict with an existing, I will send this out to everybody. So don't worry about just taking a look at it right now. You'll get this calendar, take a look at it. And if you see that if it's a conflict with an existing event, we will reschedule. The idea is that we support each other on this. So that is the schedule. I want to really just say thank you to Senator Brady and to the legislators. Let me let a couple folks in for the economic development bill. $50,000 have been allocated. It's coming to the Downtown Brockton Association to promote businesses in the downtown. We have not determined its end use at this point. That's one of the things that we will be working on. I met with a couple of the small businesses over the last week to really get a sense of what their needs are. It really varies from, needing a small loan to doing some marketing. So we will be gathering that information, and just wanted to, I know Al from Senator Brady is on, and Al's been helpful to me in terms of navigating how to get those funds into our resources. So Al, did you want to say anything on that? I know probably
other than hello to everybody.
Thanks.
I know Senator Brady was happy to be able to help.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate the effort. But again, it's a one-time allocation, and I think the idea is that being smart about what we're going to be doing with those funds. So thank you to Senator and the legislators for their support of this. Next on the agenda, everybody can see the agenda, right? That I have up. The Business Improvement District. I don't know, Rob, if you would like to, I can start and then maybe volley over to you. There's a couple folks that are on this meeting today that are part of a steering committee. We've been meeting over the last pretty much almost a full year, every other week, almost every week, really cultivating what a business improvement district is and what it's not. But for those that attended the holiday parade, over 4,000 people were in the downtown with their families, doing multiple things between eating, activities, making teddy bears, a whole bunch of things. The idea is that we need to sustain that. If we're bringing more residents to the downtown, that we need to be able to have activities. So the process right now, you'll be hearing a little bit more as we move forward, but there is a process in place to establish a business improvement district. There are 13 across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The nearest ones are Taunton, and I follow both them, and I see what Barnstable does and holding ongoing activities. But it is an assessment to property owners that assessment goes into a pool of money that then addresses issues of, say, I think what this group has talked about over the last year is cleaning, keeping the area clean, as well as safety. Sorry, those were the two high priorities, and that's been addressed with property owners specifically. Obviously the needs of residents will be another. So Rob, did you want to add anything to that?
I just want to say that the city is supporting the Downtown Brockton Association in their efforts to create a bid. We've done some analysis. John Fay has been incredible in crunching numbers and working both with mass development and our consultant to get us through this process. And so I also want to thank our two co-chairs for making this project move forward.
Thank you. And those co-chairs are Joe Casey, President, CEO of Harbor One, and then John Marion Tuxedo. So we'll have more to coming on that. And the DBA last year did vote to support pursuing the business improvement district, just as an aside. So thank you, Rob, for your input. Next, I want to talk about, this is government. This is a whole host of folks, but I'm going to turn this over to Councillor Jeff Thompson, Ward 5, Jeff Thompson, to give some remarks. And then after Jeff, I'll have Rob. And then after Rob, I'll have the Brockton Police Department, Derek Solomon. Councillor?
Great. Thank you, Mary. And hello, everyone. Great to be back together with you all, and Happy New Year. So yeah, a few things happening, let's say within the short term regarding downtown and the city council's involvement. Number one is and a high priority for myself and I believe the city as well. And that's the Sycamore Grove project, a public green space that's going to be in the what we call the current marketplace, but everybody may know it as the old Bat Bus terminal. So that is a space that we hope will begin construction coming this spring. It's a $2 million project that we've secured funding for through our ARPA funds. And so this is really going to be a key spot for the city of Brockton. A place where residents of downtown and residents of Brockton and even people from outside the city can come to the center of Brockton to enjoy music, civic events, art fair, cultural exhibits, a lot of food, even a drink in this area. So it's really going to be a catalyst for the economic engine of downtown. But to really make Sycamore Grove successful, we really need parking. So parking downtown is tight, but luckily we have a large, I believe, approximately 450 space parking garage right across the street at the John Adams garage at the corner of Crescent Street and Main Street. And so one of the things that myself and Mr. May went before the parking authority seeking to modernize the Adams garage to make it a 24-hour facility. Right now, the Adams garage closes at 9:00 p.m., which I don't believe is, really doesn't really work if we want to unlock the potential of downtown Brockton and the businesses that we hope to attract to this area. Those businesses are going to need parking. And so we've identified the Adams garage as really a key to unlocking the business potential of downtown Brockton. And so again, we went before the parking authority and sought cost estimates that they would put out an RFP for cost estimates to modernize the Adams garage and make it a 24-hour facility. And so they are in the process of doing that. But outside of that, essentially what we would eventually need is for the Adams Garage or the parking authority, to turn over their ownership of the old Bat Bus Terminal to the city so that we can move forward with construction of Sycamore Grove. So that's really the next thing on our agenda, and any help from the DBA to support that process would be greatly appreciated, because we really need that to happen to move forward with the Sycamore Grove project. And so that's Sycamore Grove. And one other issue.
Actually, Counselor, before we go on to another one, can I see if there's any members that either here in the office or on that have any questions about that? Because otherwise I'm going to start looking for motions then, so we have a formal vote to support this. So any questions for the counselor on Sycamore Grove? Go ahead. Yep, right.
What's the, like, is the parking authority not planning on handing over the property to the city?
Well, so that's really the question. That specific vote has not been put before the parking authority yet. I do know that they know it's coming down the pipe. The parking authority is run by a 5-member board, where I believe only there are 4 currently appointed members of the board. So it's going to be a vote of the board to relinquish control and turning it over to the city. In our conversations, preliminary conversations with the parking authority, they have questions, but we're hoping that with the help of the DBA and other interested parties, we can together collectively convince the parking authority that this is the right thing to do for the city of Brockton.
Does that answer your question, Brian? So I would, and again, this is one of the things that I'm looking for the DBA to be doing is weighing in on items that are of importance to help rejuvenate the downtown. Ann?
Yeah, I just want to say, in a way, it almost should be a little separate vote, because when I think of the Sycamore Grove area, I think the old Bat Bus Terminal, way back 20-something years ago before they ended up.
Yeah, that's what he just said. Mhm.
Yeah, but that's one vote. Talking about, to me, the parking garage, to me, seems to be another vote, because
So I will let either Rob or Counselor answer that, but my understanding of doing some due diligence on this project is that they are tied together, because to take away the parking behind the businesses, Tamboo, Petros, Joe Angelo's and others, it can stymie their business. And in order for this project to work right, we're a dense downtown. And so, and there's also a mindset about how far do people want to walk? Well, how far people want to walk versus encouraging them to know that there's a safe place. So if I am for Counselor or Rob, is that correct in my understanding of the project?
Well, definitely parking will be an issue if we remove the current parking. So the plan that we currently have does have some parking in the Sycamore Grove area itself. But from my understanding, the marketplace, as we currently call it, has about 52 parking spaces that are utilized by the Main Street businesses. Some of those being reserved parking for a few of those businesses. And so with the plans on the current Sycamore Grove, I believe we put in about 25, 28 parking spaces. So they'd be losing, around 20 parking spaces that they currently depend on. And so I understand their concern when we talk about losing these spaces. So,
which then goes right into the modernization of the garage, because right now, unless you have a person there, it closes at a certain time. Am I right? And then that
Correct.
eliminates where there's restaurants who are open till 11
Oh,
or
no,
so.
I think the idea is brilliant to keep it open later and to definitely modernize it, because it's what?
So I
40
think
years
I
old,
heard
yeah.
a motion from Ann Beauregard to do
Go
so.
ahead, yeah, you can use me, yeah.
Is there anybody who would like to second that motion? This is for the Downtown Brockton Association to support the modernization of the parking garage to further support Sycamore Grove.
A second.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
And just, I'm not going through a roll call, but all those in favor said aye.
Aye.
For all those opposed? And otherwise, if there is anybody opposed, just yell and I'll make it known.
No,
Again, it's the concept, so thank you.
you're welcome. That's a
for-
good
so,
idea.
thank you, Ann.
Because that'll be a lot
Ca-
safer for everybody using it all the time. Because the
Counselor,
upgrades,
we
yeah.
will send a letter of support to the parking authority to support this, but you said you have other items?
Yeah, just one additional item, short term, and to the DBA, thank you so much for your favorable vote on this matter. You know, the DBA is going to be a big partner, a huge partner in our downtown. So the fact that you support this is greatly appreciated. So I do thank you. Just, yeah, one quick thing. So I have the new committee assignments have been assigned for the 2023 city council year. I was appointed as a city council representative to the city's beautification committee. And so I know that's kind of a dormant committee, one that really only meets once a year for the Make Brockton Beautiful Day. You know, it is my intent to really expand the type of cleanup events we have through the beautification committee and the support of the city. And so I would like to, you know, just let you know that I do plan on having a spring cleaning event, probably in that March, April timeframe, to really focus on the downtown area. And so, you know, I'll be seeking help from everybody on this call, the businesses in the area, to really, you know, start cleaning up our downtown. It's been a rough summer. It's gotten dirty. It's gotten a little grimy downtown. And so I know businesses, you do your best you can to maintain your properties. But if we could have multiple events throughout the year, really focusing on the cleanliness of Brockton, I think that'd be good for the residents who live here, the businesses who operate here, and people who are seeking to come to our downtown. So I just wanted to put that on everybody's horizon. And I will be talking about it again over the next few months. Thank you, Mary. Thank you all again. And, you know, great being with you all.
Thank you, Counselor. And please, I know, congratulations to all the counselors. I believe that Counselor Sue Nicastro is now the president of the council for this calendar year. So thank you very much. Rob May,
Yes, ma'am.
you have a presentation you'd like to give?
I do, if I can share my screen.
You are co-host, so you should be able to.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute, I gotta stop sharing. Stop. I'm sorry.
Unshare.
There we go.
And let me do presentation view. Okay, hope everybody can see that. It shows white because of all the clean snow. outside
Can
our
everybody
window.
see?
Can everybody see that presentation?
Yes,
Oh, wait a minute, I might be, what am I doing here? Here,
we see you in presenter mode.
Yeah, I see your mode, Rob.
okay.
Okay, we're in presentation mode. Yes, yes, okay.
Presenter mode.
Oh, presenter mode. You know what?
Just go with it.
I'm
Yep.
gonna go with it because I'm 60, I don't know how to do this. So, we have a couple of updates I'd like to talk to you guys about. We have a project with OCPC for a commercial property census. We are in the process of hiring a retail recruitment consultant.
Oh, nice.
We have a couple of downtown green space applications, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Sycamore Grove. One of the things that, we have assessors database, and that has some limited information about who owns property and what condition they're in, but we need to know much, much more. Both as we do our work with the city and as the Downtown Brockton Association reaches out on their bid work and other efforts to host events in the city. So we've hired OCPC to do a census for us. Additional phases will look at tenant information and physical assessments of the property. But as we said, you know, we want to be able to target communications and better understand our downtown environment. The city has issued a request for a proposal and has received a couple of proposals to hire a retail recruitment consultant. The scope of work includes gathering and analyzing data, holding public forums to better understand the community's needs, to get their input and their buy-in. We'll develop a recruitment plan that'll match with retail matching and targeted strategies for specific sectors. There'll also be a hotel feasibility study to determine how many more rooms the city can support. And then this also includes the implementation of the plan over 3 years, and we will have professional representation at several trade show events throughout the year, who will then be able to promote and represent Brockton as we go forward. And I'm sorry, I'm speaking really fast. There's 2 grants that we're applying for downtown. There's a land and water conservation fund, which is a state program. We'd like to hire or acquire 40 Warren Avenue, and it will help create a path along the Salisbury Brook River, or Salisbury Brook, excuse me, that would connect to Taglia Park with the YMCA. This is on land that is behind the Council on Aging. There's also a federal grant, 5-star urban water restoration grant, where we would do a cleanup of a section of Trout Brook and install some permanent pollution control devices with DPW. So this is the area along, excuse me, this is the
That's 400 Warren
400
Avenue.
Warren Avenue. Sorry, I lost my place. So you can see it's built up right to the waterway. It's been vacant for a long time. In the photo labeled A, you can see Tataglia Park on the left hand, and then you can see how it connects all the way across to Main Street. And this would be a beautiful opportunity to create a little path back there. Of course, well lit and clean, safe. And it's part of the Two Rivers plan that we want to celebrate our waterways, not turn our back on them and use them as dumping grounds. And then next, we want to talk about Sycamore Grove. Again, this is the area that's behind Joe Angelo's in Tamboo, the former BAT terminal. We'd like to remove some of the surface parking, replace it with a public plaza for hosting all sorts of community events. Some of you may remember that Prava was back there. Mayor Rodriguez had his Shoe City Festival back there. There's all sorts of interesting year-round programming that we can do. And that, excuse me, that the Downtown Brockton Association could be doing too. The mayor's allocated $2 million of ARPA funding for the construction, and we just need to finalize the property transfer with the Brockton Parking Authority. Although it is city-owned property, they technically it's in the care and custody of the Parking Authority. And then to give you an idea, so this is the parking area that's behind Joe Angelo's. You can see it's fairly barren and desolate. But these are the examples of what we want to do with Sycamore Grove. Part of it is to include a permanent stage and have it all pre-lit and pre-wired so that when we want to have downtown events, we don't have to go out and find staging, find lighting. That's one of the issues that we had with Prava, getting the setup and tear down. And then the last slide really shows you kind of what Sycamore Grove would look like. We would have permanent sanitation facilities, men's, women's, and vendors. There would be a vendor building for pop-ups to come and provide food and beverage to accent the food and beverage that you can already get down there at Joe Angelo's, Tamboo, and Petro's Island. And then we'd be adding more green space and a permanent stage at the far end where we connect with the Brockton Public Library. And of course, if you continue up Maple, you eventually get to one of the Salisbury parks. And we'll have, hopefully, at the end of our work, we'll have this beautiful network of green spaces connecting major destinations throughout the city, celebrating the rivers, and providing, you know, a nice little respite for downtown workers and residents. So that is the end of my spiel.
So Rob, you're going to send me this presentation, but this is also on the city, on your website, am I correct?
Yes, there is a whole section on Sycamore
So-
Grove in the greening of downtown section.
So you've got a lot out there. Questions of Rob?
Rob, I have a
Go
question. This is Ed Cabellin from Brockton
Ed.
Beer. How are you doing, Rob?
Very good, sir.
So I'm just curious about, I mean, I'm excited about this opportunity at Sycamore Grove. I think it's going to be a great addition to downtown. Has there been discussion around adding, I saw that the rendering of the stage had an overhang. Any discussion around tents or making that space weatherproof? Not weatherproof, but the ability to have events even if it's raining down there. We experienced that quite a bit when we were at Prava 2 years ago. So I always remember.
Yeah,
You know.
rain can be a problem. The stage would certainly have a canopy over it.
Sure.
We're also talking about having a permanent, let me go back to that page.
Wait a minute, those sycamore trees really gave some good shade and some protection on some rainy
It
days.
did, but when, you know, on a downpour, you're gonna have a downpour. We are talking about potentially some canopies. You can see them here, and that would provide some opportunity for people to jump in out of the rain. But mostly it's going to be a green and open area. We do have a vendor's facility that will be plumbed, so gas and electric and potable water and sanitary services will all be on the site. So no more porta potties, and vendors will be able to clean up a lot easier.
Great
Exciting.
question, thank you, Ed.
Yep, exciting stuff. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It was a good question though, because certainly we want to have the ability where just because it's a inclement weather, not things shutting down.
So most
Gonna
of
put
the
a
parking
dome.
section back there is,
Give me one.
sorry, Rob, most of the parking that's back there is actually gonna stay in place, right? Like, kind of like north of here, there's like, you're not connecting Sycamore Grove to Salisbury Park. Like, you're not taking all the parking lots back.
We're not
there.
taking all the parking. We're not proposing to take all the parking. There is still some surface parking that'll be available during the day. When there's an event, we can close off certain sections of it. You know, whether it's starting here, which is the Department of Unemployment Assistance, and closing off Maple and here on Main Street. Or even going further for larger events, we could close it off at Crescent Street.
But
And
it's all like impervious, there's not gonna be like a big lawn featuring this or anything.
there is a nice green lawn area. We've taken out some of the parking. You know that,
Not boarding house.
Say that again?
It's not boarding house parking.
No, it's, I mean, Greg was asking here, just, it's not all green, there will be still.
there will
as you
be
can-
surface for vehicles to park and people to walk, yes.
So Rob, if, I can't see it, but if, does anybody else have any questions?
I'll stop sharing so you can see everybody.
There we go. But there's a lot to be unfolded here. If there are any questions where would one go? But before I cut anybody off, was there anybody that had any other questions? I don't see hand raised or anything. So thank you, Rob. I think it is all exciting things going on. And I think that as we are a walkable city, I really do. We need to make some improvements on certain things, but these are all the accessory and things that will continue to keep people in the downtown. So more information, contact Rob May, 508-583-7113, correct, planning office, rmay@cobma.us. Thank you. So before moving on, I know that Derek Salmon from the Brockton Police Department is with us, and I know he's got to run to another meeting, but Derek, do you want to just give an update of what's going on with the police department, please?
How you doing? Happy New Year to everybody. It's been a while since I've seen everyone. Not much, to be honest with you, that I know of. Seems like the biggest complaint that I've been getting, being the crime watch guy as well as the community outreach officer lately, has been some of the homelessness downtown, which we've had obviously in the past, as well as the panhandling that's been going on. I do know various organizations within the city have gone out and offered services to some of these individuals. Unfortunately, you can't make them take the services if they're offered. And the other issue is the bridges, where they're congregating at night, sleeping and whatnot. I know the DPW has gone out and cleaned out the bridges. They've been warned not to go back, and they go back. We are working with that. Lieutenant Schleeman in my office is on top of that. But it's winter. It's somewhat slower, which is always a good thing in regards to nuisance crimes and things like that. I did get a call from Rachel over at Mass High this morning around 10 o'clock. She had an issue in the back lot. I guess they have a bus back there. And someone put a tent behind the bus, and the fence kind of hidden, with the zip door right up against the bus. So I went over there this morning, try to shake some stuff, see if there's anybody. That nobody was in there. However, someone's definitely living in there. There's a pillow, there's blankets, things of that nature. I don't know, food and whatnot. I did call her back. It is private property. She can do what she needs to do with it. So she was notified of that. But that problem that she had from the summer this is the first time I've heard from her in a while. So we don't want to stop people going back to that property as well. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if anybody has any issues with homelessness, nuisance crimes on their property, just shoot me an email. Mary has my email. She can forward to everybody if you don't already have it, and I'll get on it. And if there's any questions, I'll feel free to take them.
Thanks, Derek. I will appreciate that. It runs right into our next topic, because as for those that are on my mailing list, there's some of you may not have received it, but I will share it. So the Enterprise did a series recently about the unhoused, and that is our next topic. And with us today are two folks from Father Bill's Mainspring, John Lanham, and then also Patrick Ronan. And before I turn this over to them, because I think it really is important, I'm here every day, and I'm even sometimes here on the weekends. I will tell you that it has the number of folks under the train underpasses have increased, like double, tripled. And while I have none of my staff, I ask on an occasional basis, I'm not accosted, other than people who are asking for panhandling. It does provide a little bit of apprehension for folks wanting to walk from this side and to go to the post office. And we do an education, and when we're planning, I believe that we're going to be doing some training with our staff. We have 22 folks here that work at OCPC, but it is one of concern. So maybe if I can bring this, am I going to turn this over to you, John?
Sure. Yeah, that works.
Great. Thank you.
Hi, folks. Again, go for it.
No, I was just going to say that Father Bill's, John Yazinski and the team have always been responsive, along with the police department. We've had some graffiti, we've had some other things, but I just want to really truly welcome you as a partner into addressing this issue. So John, go ahead.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to talk with everyone. Again, my name is John Landman. I'm the Senior Programs Director. I apologize that John Yazinski couldn't be here today. I did want to let the group know, and I think to Derek's point from Brockton PD, that while we can't force anyone to go into shelter or accept services, we do have a team that's on the street every day that wants to engage with people. So I wanted to tell you just a little bit about what the structure is of our outreach team, some of the numbers and trends that we're seeing, and then really hopefully be here to answer any questions you have, talk about ways we could, better partner together and, try to make sure that the downtown area is, as accessible and welcoming as it can be. So So in the Brockton region, we have what we call a triage manager. His name is Josh Brown. He oversees all outreach and prevention and diversion activity for this region. Josh is a Brockton resident. He's been in this role for about a year now, doing a fantastic job just engaging with people. You've probably seen him walking around on the street. He's a big guy with a beard and a backpack that probably have seen going around. He has two outreach workers as well, Michelle Chapman and Ralph Diggs. And I'll provide contact information in the chat for how you can get in touch with us if you have questions. But the outreach workers are there to hit the streets every day. So they coordinate with the BAMS's COPE program, Stairway to Recovery, Champion, all those programs that are engaging with individuals who are outside to really first see, like, can we get them to come into shelter? That's always our first, activity. Like, we want to get you off the street. We want you to come into shelter, have a safe place to stay, and really start engaging in what services we can to get you housed. The team so far this year has engaged with 58 different individuals. And so far, 11 of them have been able to be placed into housing. And so those are individuals who actually didn't hit shelter. They were placed into housing directly from the street. So we're excited to see that movement of people moving in. But it is, to Derek's point, it is a growing number of people that we're seeing in the city. I will say that this is when we talk to other providers across the state, particularly some of our partner agencies in Boston and Bristol County. The state is seeing a significant increase in homelessness, both on the family side and on the individual side. So we're seeing that shelters are having a much higher census than they've had in past years. We're also seeing larger street populations. We have an outreach worker in Quincy as well, and we're seeing more encampments and more people on the street in Quincy than we have in past years. Typically, in terms of just where we're seeing people come from, of the 58 individuals that we've engaged with so far this year, 42 of them report that they're from Brockton. They were either born here or they, grew up here, had housing here at one point. I think there is often an idea that Boston or Bristol County is like sending everyone to the areas where there are shelters, which does happen. Absolutely, it is something we try to push back on, but it's the majority of the people who are staying outside are Brockton residents. But our focus, again, is to try to get them to housing as soon as possible. One of the big pieces that we are also seeing right now is just a lot of hospitals from outside of this region calling, looking to discharge people. We work really closely with Signature and Good Sam and Brockton Neighborhood Health Center to make sure that we're coordinating services, and particularly where we're sending people to the hospital for their own needs and making sure that they're discharged appropriately. But we're seeing calls from outside of our region just because the shelters in those regions are completely full. And so we're trying to do our best to engage them, make sure that they are put back to the regions that they're coming from, that their people aren't being inappropriately discharged to this region, and that they're not getting stuck here. We have a full-time diversion worker. That's pretty much his whole job at this point, is taking calls from hospitals and other areas to make sure that people understand what the resources are in other programs and areas. In terms of just some of the trends that the team is seeing overall, this has definitely been a busier winter than normal. Usually in the summer months is when we see outreach picking up. Some of that may be just attributed to the fact that it's been a pretty mild winter for the most part so far. We haven't had a real strong cold spell, which usually pushes more individuals inside. But we are also seeing that some of the encampments that we've traditionally seen in the downtown area seem to be getting a little smaller. I think we're seeing people in the downtown area a lot during the day, and then the evenings, the people who are actually sleeping outside seems to be shrinking a little bit in favor of areas on the north or south side of the city or some of the areas around DW Park. Some of this seems to be just based on construction, and just there's a lot of activity in construction in the downtown area, and some of those areas that they had been staying just aren't as readily available as before. In terms of the panhandling piece, certainly there's been a significant uptick in the number of individuals that are panhandling on a regular basis. Our team has engaged with all of those individuals that are regularly outside. I think we all know the people on North Main, Warren, up near Walmart and Superior Court. The team has gone out and engaged with all those, and the majority of those individuals have chosen not to come inside or are not really engaging in our services. There's a variety of reasons for that. Most common is usually mental health concerns or substance use issues, but it is a group that we're trying to engage with to say, we want you to come inside, we want you to have a safe place. Just because someone tells us no doesn't mean we're going to stop engaging with them. We're going to keep going out and trying to get them to come inside, because today may be the day they decide to come in, but we want to make sure that they know that there's someone available to connect with. The bigger piece of this, I think, for us, particularly in concern with the articles, is our focus has really been developing housing, looking at opportunities to better serve the people who are in need in the region. And many of you may have heard about this already, but just so you know, we are developing what we're calling a housing resource center. It's a new type of shelter building that's going to have full-time day services. Because right now we're currently not funded to be open during the day. We are open to have our health clinic available and for case management, but it's mostly through private fundraising that we do that. Our state and federal contracts just cover evening shelter. And we know that that's not sufficient. We know we want to have full-time day services, a larger health clinic through Brockton Neighborhood Health Center, behavioral health on site, recovery services on site, everything that people would need to be able to engage and move on from shelter into housing as soon as possible. We've been working on a site up at Manley Street near the VA campus that we're really excited about. We're hoping for construction to start on that fairly soon and be able to get that site up and running as a new full service day shelter and evening shelter that will also have some housing kind of built into it as well. I'll stop there because I know that was a lot of information all at once. I'd love to hear questions people have or
that really, I think everyone needs to hear this across the community, but let's start with anybody who's online or inside. Michael?
John, thanks for that information. That was really helpful. We've definitely seen an increase in the number of people sort of camping out for the day at our transit hub. And we are a public facility. We're happy to have people come in and warm up for a little bit. But our first priority has to be the comfort of our customers and cleanliness of the building. What do you suggest in terms of people who are spending 4 or 6 hours a day at the transit hub?
I mean, I think we often are encouraging people to find productive things to do during the day, because we certainly see a lot of people hanging around next to our building in Perkins Park and other areas, not always being as productive as they probably should be. But looking for places to go, whether it's the library or programs like Stairway to Recovery, other places that have classes or things that they can do to stay engaged. We really try to utilize Mass Hire and other programs to get people a place to go. But I would say if people are becoming a nuisance or there's particular individuals that are coming repeatedly and are problematic, it'd be great to reach out to the outreach team. Because we can come, we'd love to avoid someone getting arrested, for loitering or trespassing, and just have us engage with them and have a conversation on where we can find a more productive place for them to go. Where it's a public space, certainly, like you said, people are able to go there if they need it, but we don't want it to be a situation where they're not able to, or they're causing an issue and impacting others using that space.
Thanks, John. Vronsky?
Yes. I've heard, I listened to John, but being in the front line as a business owner downtown for many years, and for at least 20 years, and we've dealt with the homelessness for a very long time. But we under the impression that we are being, I'm talking about Brockton, good neighbor. And then from our own perspective, what we notice is the majority of the people that comes downtown, whether for drugs or just to make our life miserable. For instance, people going in my front step, in my back doors, the poop, they do all kinds of stuff, disgusting stuff. But when we find out, most of them, they're coming from our surrounding, not really downtown Brockton. We have them coming from Whitman, from the neighboring, but I guess seem to be welcome here in Brockton. So that's why we deal with it. That's our impression downtown, because every now and then we grab one and says, what are you doing here? Where are you from? And so that's what they tell us. We get the feedback that they're coming from the surrounding. They're not native of Brockton. But I'm quite surprised to hear, what you just said. I mean, that at least almost 90% of them, they're like really from Brockton. But I'm glad I've seen some improvement down here. So we've seen less and less of the homeless. And
So Bronski's a property owner, right near, across from Brockton Beer, has been property owner for how many years, Bronski, 25?
I think it's about 22 years.
Okay, okay,
Yes, it's been some time. I've been downtown for a while.
yeah.
I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the great.
So Vronsky, John put contact in the chat, and for
Yep.
those in here, I just pulled back up. Keep those, this recording will be sent out along with the contacts and information presentations from today's meeting, but between Father Bill's and then also from the police department, Derek's contact, if there are issues of that nature, I know I've done it myself, that to please contact. I think what prompted, this has been a topic that has been surfacing for the last year, and Campello and Montello have also brought up the issue as well. And but I think that it's one thing to talk about, it's another thing to pick up that phone and really make these calls. It was on social media that I think someone was in the middle of Main Street right near Brockton Neighborhood Health Center that was dropping their trowel in the middle of the road. And those are the things that just we all, I think, want to say it's not acceptable. But if it's not called and you just continue to drive on or you walk away, no one's going to take any action. So I think that's the point where having the context and information, I will share again in a follow-up to this meeting. But thank you, Vronsky, for sharing that. Anybody else want to talk? Vronsky, do you have anything else to add?
Well, I mean, sometimes I think it's really tough. For me to call a department to tell them someone just actually unleashed a load right in front of my door, and then obviously my people that work for me, they usually call me up and say, "Boss man, we have something going on here," so it's become my duty. So obviously, I said, if someone was to come in, you look at my back doors, I install cameras, and I get really aggravated and nasty sometimes, but it's happening on a daily basis. I dealt with them, the ping, the poops, and all that stuff right in my door.
Old Colony Planning Council owns this building, and I've had the same issue, and needles and what have you. But again, that's why contact information, if the DBA's role is going to arm our property owners and businesses and nonprofits with the contact to make the phone call, I want to stay out of the way. I want to be able to get you connected directly, so then quick action can be done for not only your residents, but also for your for the rental folks. But I'm gonna, just because of the sake of time, I do want to move on. Anybody else have any additional question to add to John and to where are you, Patrick? Thank you, and then also to Derek. We'll continue to get an update on this as we go along the way. And on our website, on our new website, as well as our Facebook page, we'll be, if it's okay, we'll be sharing contact information for those to make phone calls to. So thank you. I am going to share my screen again. And just because we are getting, so Brockton Redevelopment Authority, Kadi is here to talk about the loan program, and I want to quickly bring up this. Kadi?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mary, for the opportunity. I just wanted to share that we are now accepting applications for our round 2 of the business assistance program. It's going to be very similar to what we did on round 1, but this time we also going to accommodate some startups. So for seasoned businesses, they can apply for up to $10,000. Really looking to give it out for businesses to assist with general business expenses, mortgage, rent, utilities, payroll, and employee training. For startups, we're gonna do it as a matching process. We wanna understand where the business is in terms of getting ready to open. So businesses that request $10,000 will have to show us that they've invested themselves at least $10,000 in the business. I will share the guidelines as well on the chat, but we're really looking to see jobs, businesses creating more jobs, investing in the community and the sustainability of the business going forward. So we will also be asking for business plans, and there's a list of other documentation that I will also share.
And you're gonna put that right?
Yes, I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'll do an info session online tomorrow. That's gonna be on Zoom. I'll share the link as well here. And we're gonna do an in-person next week, the 25th, from 4 to 5:30 p.m. here at the Metro South Chamber of Commerce conference room.
Okay. So tomorrow there's an info session by Zoom, and then on the 25th, an in-person 4 to 5:30. I know that there's a number of businesses that are interested. And just on this, if someone received funding in the first round, are they eligible for funding this round?
No, they will not qualify.
Okay. All right. Even though it's for a different purpose or anything like that, right? They're unable to.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Questions of Khadid? Let's stop sharing this thing just because I cannot see. Yep. Al?
Yeah, I have a quick question for everybody regarding the business assistance. I have a constituent, it's a business in Brockton, who has received assistance prior by the BRA. Is anyone aware of another program that might be out there that might be able to help this?
Al, I would strongly recommend that you reach out to Khadid. You put your contact in is your email in there too?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I'll add my email address there. So the businesses can reach out to me. I would love to understand the more specific of the needs they have. We have a variety of other organizations that work with us that I could refer the business to. So I'd love to have a conversation.
Right, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Great. I'll send an email to both of you so you can connect. But again, the Brockton Redevelopment Authority with Kelly and with Khadid, they are the dynamic duo on assisting all businesses. So hence Brockton Redevelopment Authority, their name, right? Thank you.
Thank you for what you do.
Thanks, Al. Any other questions on the business loan?
I have a quick question.
And it's actually a grant, so businesses don't have to pay it back.
Got it. Thank you.
My question to her is, as far as like, the BRA and some of those programs that they have, the great program, I mean, the presentation is awesome, but it would be really nice sometime to come up and some success stories and some of the businesses who actually, benefited from these programs. And I've not done too many, but the programs always sound, outstanding. And I think it would probably be very nice one day to come up, and present out a few businesses who were able to participate into those programs. At least we have an idea because I don't hear from them.
We usually share on our social media as well, Instagram and Facebook, some of the most recent ones, but we are working, especially with BCA, maybe having a channel or a show that we can highlight some of the businesses here in Brockton. I think that would be a good idea.
Or, oh, shocker, there's the Downtown Brockton Association that can help with that. So you raise a good point that my attempt was to try to work on things to highlight successful businesses, who's here, and not only about the loan, but also what sort of resources did they do or that they have to be successful, whether it's Mass Growth Capital or elsewhere. So thank you, Vronsky.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions for Khadid?
I just wanted to add that NeighborWorks, we rolled out the Brockton Venture Loan Fund pretty much right before the pandemic hit. And it has been as we all know, an interesting time since then. But we are supposed to get together with the 5 banks on an annual basis to review that loan fund to find out, what's working, what's not working, what are we hearing out in the market, and we do have that scheduled. So we're really hoping, we're really advocating to, Trish and I are really advocating to get those funds moving, to be able to be a resource. They're there, we've worked with another gentleman that ran a CDFI in the Andover area, who has been a good mentor and, has kind of told us what, we need to do to be a CDFI that's able to help and lend. We want to make it more accessible. So, stay tuned for that. Hopefully over the next few months, you'll hear more about that, but we definitely want to also be a resource in addition to BRA. We work closely with Kadi and Kelly as well, and we want to get those funds moving to be able to help.
Julie, it sounds like a good topic for an upcoming DBA meeting that we can have you do
Absolutely.
a presentation. So I will work with you on whether it's February or March or if it needs to be later. So so thank you. Appreciate that. Just because I want to be able to keep us moving along on Friday. On Friday, Capo Vida Vegan is opening, their grand opening, located at 20 Main Street. It's at 11:30, and they are, they have a brick and mortar right here in downtown. So I know that there was a number of folks on this call that has been helpful with them. So thank you for all that, but their opening is on the 20th. Next on is, I am going to have Council on Aging survey. Michelle?
Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm really excited, one, to talk about our survey, but also to talk about something that's been long coming and why we're really want to get the word out about this survey. We are going to have an expansion of our current building of the Brockton Council on Aging, and we are planning on relocating temporarily in March. So we're collaborating with UMass Boston Gerontology Institute to do a needs assessment survey. And this survey actually, the process started back last year actually. And the survey itself, the process just started last week. So the first step was 5,000 people in our city were randomly selected and received a postcard to tell them that they would be receiving a survey in the mail. And then they'll all receive a copy of that survey by mail this week. The surveys are being sent out, and we actually have them available starting the 17th here at the Council on Aging. So this survey is to help us gather information about the needs for what our residents in the city want for our new center. So the city has increased about 4,000 people since our last census that are 60 or older. So we really for a long time have needed an expansion to our center to really be able to serve people in our city and the surrounding communities. So this tool is only as good as we can get it out to the community and as many responses as we get back, which we know is always the challenge of surveys, which is why we wanted to bring it up to the Downtown Business Association so we could have your assistance in helping us get the word out about this survey as well. So the survey is live and it's on the City of Brockton website. It's really simple. There's a link there that says take the Brockton Community Survey. So people can click on that and it will bring them right into the survey to fill it out. All responses will be kept confidential. They don't have to put their name or any other identifying things on the survey. It's really just so that we can meet the needs of not only the population now, but the population of our city in the future as we grow with the community. So that's what we are doing. There'll be surveys available here at the Brockton Council on Aging. We know sometimes people don't have the capacity to go online, or they may not have been one of the 5,000 people that were randomly selected. So everybody that wants to fill out the survey will have the opportunity to do so. So we'll have them available here at the Council on Aging. We'll have them available at the Mayor's Office, Cape Verdean Association, the Haitian Community Partners, at Heights Crossing, and on the city website. And I tried out the link. It's super simple. You just click right on it. You don't have to do anything else. It brings you directly into the survey. So it's very user friendly. And then all of the information goes right back to the gerontology department at UMass Boston for them to compile all the data for us. So this is a really big collaboration that we're excited about. We're hoping that all of you will help us get the word out. We're also hoping in the meantime, when we're relocated, I'll still be coming to all the Brockton Downtown Business Association meetings, but we also want to give our seniors the opportunity, and this is something that I really want to do, is to give them the opportunity to know what's in our downtown area. So we'd like to start setting up different programs for us to get out to the different businesses that we could actually bring seniors and people from the Council on Aging to kind of tour different businesses that are downtown that they might not even know about, especially new ones, like the Cabo Vegan restaurant that's opening on Friday. I'm sure a lot of them, because they're not online, don't even know about what's around and what's available. So we're hoping that this will be a way so we can assess the needs of our seniors in our community and help improve where we live in our city and help improve the businesses of our area downtown. I can let you know that in the interim, we will be relocating to the Shaw's Center over at 1 Feinberg Way. We don't know how long the project will exactly take or when it will exactly begin, but we will be relocating sometime in March, like I said. And just so that you guys know, we actively have about 4,500 people that we mail out to our newsletter every single solitary month. So it's a good way for you guys to get out word. If you want to include anything in our newsletter, or if you wanted to take out an advertisement, you can do that, and it gets word out. We send it to local hospitals. We send it to all of the housing authorities. Individually, we send it to about 3,700 seniors in our city. And then it's always,
No, go ahead. I'm just.
And then it's always posted on the city website too. So we're always looking for collaborations with our neighbors downtown. So I actually have put my information in the chat. I'll do it right now. So you guys have my phone number and my email. So definitely reach out to me if you have any questions about the survey. We can always drop some off wherever you are if you want to help us hand them out and send them back, or you can send people right here. We struggle the same as you do. The people that use our business know us and love us, but a lot of the times people don't realize we're here and that we're here for them, not only for recreational and social things, but we also have a great outreach department that can help with needs that go beyond just the social aspects of their life.
Well, thank you, Michelle. This survey was put out in the packet that went out last week. So that went out to about 300 contacts that we have. And for those members who are on, please, as Michelle had said, please share that. Fronsky, you have your hand up?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I just.
Okay, that's okay. Nope.
I was
Thank you,
quiet.
Michelle.
Thank you,
we
Mary. Thank you for
appreciate it.
sharing it with everybody too. We really appreciate the support.
You are more than welcome. I'm just going to quickly go through these slides. I do try to do this on in an hour, but it's just too much information. I don't want to miss out anything. There is an upcoming fundraiser for the Rotary. The Rotary has been a sponsor of the Downtown Holiday Parade. And what I do try to do is to support those that support us. So there is a fundraiser this Saturday at the Enterprise Club. And for more information, you can go to the Rotary, to their website. They have a Facebook page. Also coming on Saturday morning, there is the Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast that put on by the Brockton area branch of the NAACP. And I think I got a sneeze, but maybe I don't. So if there's more information, again, you can go to the NAACP Brockton branch, their website. There was an event held this past Saturday, but you know, as we continue, the library is doing so many different things. If you ever want to know what's going on, check out their website. And I don't know if I have the right one. This is not the right one, but it is on our website. Trisha, or maybe you want to talk about the event that is on, I have it here. That is on Monday, January 23rd.
We have our second annual chocolate, cheese, and wine event. This was based on an event that we held last year. And what we're doing is we're bringing all of the great business owners of Brockton together to celebrate women business owners. This year we have an award that's going to go to the best women, the 2022 women's business owner of Brockton in a nonprofit and a for-profit capacity. So we're going to be at Pyramid on Monday night from 6 to 8 p.m. We invite everyone to join us. If you go over to the DBA site, there is information on the DBA site about the event, so you can sign up. And we are still taking a few more applications. So if you know a women business owner in Brockton who has been doing amazing things in both a for-profit and nonprofit capacity, get in there, register, join us, and also vote for that person.
Tricia, thank you. I'll flip the website up in a minute, but thank you for sharing this information, talking about it. I do want to highlight there, Vinnie Maturano, who's been the CEO of Old Colony YMCA for umpteen years. He is retiring, and typical of Vinnie, he is they're establishing a fund, both in his name and in his wife's name at the Old Colony YMCA. There is the DBA is going to be supporting this event, but the Old Colony YMCA across the street from the Council on Aging. So that was in your packet last week. Also, I believe in your packet, there's an upcoming Haitian Community Partners fundraiser. So that's been in there. New Heights Charter School is going to be looking for local professionals to talk about an interest with 8th graders. That was not in your packet, but I will be sharing that out with the additional information that was sent out last week. Greater Brockton Workforce Board, they're having a whole series of programs. So bank telling, if you know anybody who's interested, or if you are a business that you think you know somebody, that's upcoming as well. DW Field Park Survey, that has been ongoing. And then also this fundraiser for the music education. And these are the articles that also have been there. So I do want to go back up just to beginning. I don't think this is going to be able to let me do this. Oh, there is. Okay, it will let me do this. We are going to be reinstating a membership. It's a nominal. It's either 50 or 100. We don't really try to have it be too big, but it's enough just so we're able to continue the work. So it's me, myself, and I. There's no staff. It's on top of my other jobs that I have. But it is such a worthwhile event, and just to have this kind of conversation. I do want to be able to bring up our website. Are you able to see the website on your end? Let me do this. Let me see. Hold on. Let me try it again. I promise you this is the last thing, but it is, if you have not been to our website, please do. It's the work that went into it, as well as it is talks about all of our upcoming meetings, the events that Tricia talked about. So here's the chocolate, cheese, and wine. Here's our monthly meetings. Here's the Metro South events. Again, if you have events that's coming through, please let us know. This is a good way of doing that. Here's our business directory. If you are a member and paid, you can click on your links. Brockton Beer is having lots of different fun things, along with the Brockton Business Cafe. Again, I think this is what our challenge is. Everybody thinks that downtown is desolate, but it's not. If you are able to then talk about all these things coming together, we give a reason for people to be coming out of there, whether you live in the downtown, like Greg does, or you are part of a business or employees of this building. We want it to be a safe and clean place, and it takes a village, truly does. So I just want to make sure that you do get a chance to take a look at the website, and thank you again to Trish and to Carrie for their work, and the Chamber, of course, for helping and funding us, and Trish for this beautiful new logo that we have. So Any other comments from anybody? Let me just double check the chat. Nope, thank you. I think everybody's put the information in there. I do not. Let me stop sharing to see if
The
anybody.
website's beautiful, Mary. It really came
Thank
out
you.
beautifully and it's so user friendly. And the logo is stunning, so simple but stunning.
I
It really
cannot
is.
take credit for any of that other than late night calls with the consultants who did this and Trisha White and her consulting. So I know
It's really beautiful.
I know I'm dwindling on folks being on here, but thank you very much. And counselor and to the government folks and all of you. We'll see you in February. Thank you.